Hello, and thank you for watching my video. I apologise for this not being out a little bit earlier than I'd hoped. I have been very busy the last few days, in fact this past week, so I do apologise for the lack of content. Primarily, I've been involved with so much stuff going on with Heart of Thorns, I didn't want to create a video prematurely that would be with incorrect information. So I decided to take a bit of time, and I've played a lot of content. And what I thought would be good is to start off this week with a video talking about Heart of Thorns and my view and my review of Heart of Thorns. So let's take a look at some of the things. I'm going to do a little feature, as you've seen by the title, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's talk about the good, the volume of changes to the game. By the way, you'll see the footage in the background, that is of guild halls, and this is of my guild actually claiming its guild hall, which we'll come on to a little bit later. Let's talk about the volume of changes. We've had a huge amount of changes to collections. There are collections and achievements out the wazoo. Really great for us achievement hunters who were getting a little bit tired of, grinding out hard to get achievements. The fact that we've actually got a consume all button for luck, unbelievable. Fractals, the changes to Fractals has been immense. Fractals is unbelievable. And not only that, there were certain things that you could do in Fractals. I'm thinking of one of the Aether Blade facilities where you take on these golems, and you always used to stack, and it was always this one place that you'd stack, and it's really easy. Well, now they've nerfed that, and they've nerfed a few other things as well, things that have been a long time in coming, and it's actually, in my opinion, one of the better things that has come out for Heart of Thorns. It's actually made things a lot more challenging and how it should have been. Revenant and Elite Specializations. I love the Revenant. I love the skills, I love the animations, and the Elite Specializations, okay, there has been some issues, however, ArenaNet listened to those issues and have reduced the number of hero points that you actually needed to unlock an Elite Specialization, because for me the Elite Specs are a phenomenal thing about Heart of Thorns, and they should be instantly playable with with the release. If you had 100% map completion, I felt that you should have automatically got that. They've pretty much listened to that and they've adjusted the figures for that. Guild halls, this is incredible. This is our guild hall, the Lost Precipice. Oh, I love this. This is, I wasn't really involved much with Guild Wars 1's guild halls. It was, it was pretty okay. But this system is brilliant. I love the guild hall system. With the design, the scribe. It is phenomenal. The amount of options that you can do, the amount of decorations you can put down is brilliant. Not only that, think about all the personal story that you did in the core game, and if you wanted to do take another character and do another run, for example the personal story, it's pretty samey, and there's not much else you can do once you've done that. However, with this you get new achievements, much like the Living World. You can go back and redo the story and try and get some achievements out of it. Precursors. Oh yes, we can actually get precursors now. Fantastic. There is a lot of gold involved in actually crafting one of these. So in some cases, it's not actually as profitable to actually build it yourself. It's better to buy it from the trading post. I'm thinking a lot of underwater ones there. But for things like Dawn and Dusk and Bolts, these are definitely worth doing. And I'm actually having a lot of fun doing them. Gliding. Gliding is... it's brilliant. I love gliding. It's so much fun. So much so that there is getting a big demand to bring gliding into the core game. Now, we know that ArenaNet have struggled, and that it's to do with a technical issue regarding the game, and that the Heart of Thorns areas were specifically designed to have gliding incorporated into it. However, I will say this. When I have been in the Silver Wastes doing the initial personal story step for Heart of Thorns, you can glide. You can glide in the Silver Wastes, particularly the personal story step. So I don't know if they can actually fix this and bring in gliding. Other big, great, good things about the expansion. Stronghold, the new PvP game type, is really a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of enjoyment in there. Guild missions. You can actually have world versus world missions, PvP missions, where you get into teams. Oh, it's a lot of fun. Epic maps. Now the maps, we saw Verdant Brink, but the scale of it is phenomenal. And not only that, when you get into some of the other ones like the Auric Basin is huge. And then, not only that, Tangled Depths. Oh, it is just the amount of levels there are. It is a right old maze. It is just a phenomenal type of map. It's very similar to putting, for example, take the Ascalon region right now. Imagine putting the 4 maps one on top of the other. This is what Tangled Depths is like to play. Really good, lot of fun. The new meta events that actually take place, I'm thinking in Auric Basin, where there is an event where you have to defend a particular city. You actually can do that. It took a couple of goes for a few of us to actually get that particular meta event down. And when you do it, it's really a lot of fun. That generally tends to happen with a full map, which there have been some issues with early on. New map bonus rewards, and this isn't just for the Heart of Thorns expansion, this is for the core game as well, where you can go in and actually get rewards that you actually want. If you want those charged lodestones, you now know where you can go and get them. Combat mode, it was something that was brought in. A lot of people are loving combat mode. For myself, I'm not really one for looking. I'm not a big... I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of it. I like it. I think it's cool because you play some adventures in action mode. I'm just not really keen on running action mode. It's just my preference style. And then we've got adventures, mini-games. Oh, mini-games have been so long they've been wanting to come in. And in fact, that people have been playing them or wanting to play them so much, but they've been locked when there's an event going on that you need to defeat to complete to actually unlock the adventure. People want the adventures unlocked permanently, but ArenaNet are listening and they will be changing that. So there is a lot of good about the expansion, and let's get on to the bad. There are no spoilers here, however it's more just details. It's a very, very fairly short story. I haven't completed it, but I do know that there are only 16 steps to this story. It feels very, very quick to go through. It just feels like a Living World season. I, for one, was hoping for a big story. I didn't get it, so I was very disappointed. XP grind and masteries. Well, masteries requiring grinding the experience, and so a lot of people have been doing the Citadel of Flame farm, which for those of you who don't know, there is a particular point where in Citadel of Flame Path 1, you have to defend 4 braziers, and normally you'd have one person attacking a switch. Well, now if you have 4 the party members stay in the middle, one person runs around the outside, just activating on the braziers, you'll spawn an infinite amount of Flame Legion that actually give you a hell of a lot of XP if you have all your boosters on. Not only that, there's event farms going around the interior, so they are people farming XP. I assume people will get their Tyrian masteries pretty damn quick. Economy changes. Another huge fluctuations we've got is things like ectoplasm has dropped by over 25%. The rares have gone down 25%. There are some low-level materials, particularly T1 mats, that have suddenly gone up in price dramatically. I don't think they've done a great job with the economy right now. I'm sure it will balance out, but there has been some big fluctuations right now, and silk, for example, silk's dropping in price because silk has become so much more valuable. But like the bolts of Damask, you actually need more of bolts of Damask to create ascended gear. There's also bugs in the game right now with collections. For example, the Fractal collection. I have all the Fractal weapons, but I can't unlock it because it's not showing up for some reason. There are map errors. For example, some people, when they get kicked out of a Fractal instance, can't come back in. The personal story's been bugged at points. There's a few bugs, and so you can expect them. Not only that, there's certain time gating with things, particularly in the guild hall. You have to wait for your Ethereum to be mined. So, time gating, and also for the legendary back piece, you have to do dailies for 2 weeks before you can proceed on to the next stage. Let's get on to the ugly. Dungeons. What is the point of dungeons now? There is no point, apart from getting tokens and to get the skins. That's it. Ascended gear. The changes to them have increased the cost, but it is ridiculous. But they are trying to bring in the fact that you need some of the T6 mats like Gossamer. Ascended gear now is ridiculously expensive. Thank God I farmed a lot of it before this Heart of Thorns. it has been pretty overwhelming with the fact that Halloween came out at the same time. A lot of people are really struggling to figure out what they want to do with, you know, the Heart of Thorns. They want to do Halloween, and it is. A lot of people have become so overwhelmed with all the changes that they're barely playing it. It is a slight issue, and it has been bad timing with Halloween. But you know, Halloween will be over within a week, so then it will be a lot easier to figure out what you need to do. Elite specialization issues, which are being resolved because, you know, it does take a long time to get alternate characters to 100% for your elite spec. This will be rectified. Hero points. Oh man, this is a big one. Hero points, basically you can't solo most of them. You need a group, and there was one that we were doing in Verdant Brink where it heals itself by actually getting blood, or absorbing, you know, sort of healing from your party members or from anyone who's around, and it took about 7 of us from range, attacking from range, to do this hero point. And it's just ridiculous. They need to sort out, obviously, you know, they wanted to make it hard because it's 10 hero points for one challenge. But it really is, some of it is far too hard. There's a few other things, you know, there's no hit PvP leagues, which are obviously a little bit disappointing, but that's coming in a couple of weeks. World versus World, there's a few things that have been restricted right now, so it's a little bit meh. There's no squad UI either. So my final thoughts are this. There are some excellent additions with Heart of Thorns. Overall, it is a good expansion. However, there are still some issues. Bugs, for example, I can understand. You know, I know the personal story. There are bugs like to happen. It's just something, you know, you get with a massive expansion like this to the game. The story's been nice so far. Dramatic, really interesting, but very short. I'm disappointed that it's not longer. It did feel like a season of Living Worlds. And it's the shortest personal story compared to previous Arena expansions. That includes Factions, Nightfall, and, not only that, Eye of the North. There are some amazing new features though. Fractals feel fresh and fun. I'm really enjoying Fractals. However, dungeons now feel irrelevant. Overall, I'd rate Heart of Thorns, the expansion, with a 7 out of 10. It's feature heavy, but content light. I feel the next expansion does need to be more story driven, but the groundwork is in place for future expansions. When comparing the launch of Heart of Thorns to the launch of Guild Wars 2 over 3 years ago, Heart of Thorns feels good, but not great. When Guild Wars 2 launched, it was like, wow, this is an amazing game. It is phenomenal. And that was over 3 years ago. For me, the issues are that the story isn't epic, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a story that's at least twice or 3 times as long, and there are certain events that I'm not going to spoil for people that happen way too early in the personal story. However, it's still a lot of fun. Not only that, the Heart of Thorns expansion has so much more to come. Raids have yet to come in, so we still have many things to come in with Heart of Thorns. But have they introduced too much at one time? That's my question, and that's my review to you guys. I hope you found this useful. I hope you've actually felt the same way. If you've got any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Obviously, this may change because, you know, if I did this video one day before, you know, the elite specializations would have been completely different. So bear in mind that this is going out the last week of October, so things are likely to change as ArenaNet listen to our feedback. Thank you very much for listening and watching my video. Please leave any comments, and I'll see you on the next one.